And this is Bob from Makana Odyssey, and today I am going to give you a reading for Virgo. So, before I get started with the reading, I want to tell you, Marianne, a couple of weeks ago you sent me a question, and I didn't get a chance to answer it. There was a few I have answered a few, but the last one I did not. I've been moving and it was difficult, but today I have a question, an answer for you, I should say. All right, so I'm going to get right into the reading for Virgo today, right now. I do see a mixed bag for you, Virgo. I do see a bunch of things for you. Virgo, you're a wonderful sign, a deep sign, and we'll get into that as we do the reading. First of all, right off the bat, I want to tell you I do see happy changes for you coming your way. I see romance for some Virgos, and I see rekindling of some romance for others. But I also see that you need to learn how to compromise a little bit. Virgo is a very positive sign, great ability, but they're also very much perfectionist, and they're also very, very self-critical. The perfectionist part, that's the thing. You guys like things a certain way, and not everybody is like that. So you have to try to find a way to tame that down a little bit. Now, being a perfectionist for you, yourself, well, maybe it's a lot of work, but it's not too bad because it's you. But in relationship, in your job, or whatever it might be, sometimes being too much of a perfectionist gets in the way. Now, of course, if you were working, your boss thinks, well, he's a perfectionist, everything is wonderful, in that way's fine. But in a relationship or a friendship or other ways, sometimes you need to find a way to communicate and to compromise in one way or another. Understand that we are all different. But that's good that we're all different, right? I mean, if we were all exactly the same, there'd be no romance, there'd be no sparks, there'd be nothing. Because we would just be boring. The other way we learn from each other. We do wish everybody, I wish you was just like me, but really you don't. Really you don't. Because if that person was just like you wouldn't have a romance. Because it would be, again, boring. It's a challenge the other way. Try to take it as a challenge rather than a pain in the ass because you are a perfectionist. Learn how to communicate. Now, another thing I do know about Virgos, a lot of times, is they are self-critical. Even though they're intelligent, they have a lot of confidence in their direction that they're going. At the same time, they have problems with themselves. They also, a lot of times, feel they're not up to par, even though they are confident they can do it. But yet they still don't feel up to par. These are things that you need to work on. I do see that there is change coming for you also. It is going to be a big change for you. It's okay. If it's bad change, you make it good. If it's good change, you make sure you keep it. But it's coming. No doubt about it. I also see that you need to think clearly, relax before you make a decision. Think about it, because you seem to be carrying a heavy load in many ways for yourself as well as for others. But sometimes that heavy load that you're carrying for others is because of the fact that you're a perfectionist. That you're always worried, that ain't right. They're not doing it right. It has to be this way and only this way. Sometimes you carry a burden in that respect as well. And yes, it makes you feel trapped in some ways or another as well. You do have a feeling of being trapped. I also do see for you that you're having difficulties in planning things right now, because you're definitely having some emotional challenges at this moment, and they can be resolved. You need to expand your mind and your education in certain ways. And when I say your education, I'm not saying that you are not intelligent. I'm saying that what's going on is that sometimes you are somewhat self-absorbed, and you have to learn how to allow others some room in that world of yours. You have to be able to understand them, communicate well with them. Again, even though you know you're an intelligent person, you do lack that confidence in certain areas. I don't understand that totally. Being such an intelligent person and such a confident person in some ways, but yet there's less self confidence. Your confidence seems to be more in what you're doing than with what happens with you. Because what happens sometimes is that you're looking at yourself and you feel no matter how much you accomplish, you're not good enough. You're not up to the par. But you're still accomplishing it, but you still feel you're not up to par. And criticism is okay. If people give you some criticism, that's magnificent. Because criticism is something that we can learn from. It's like a mistake, right? A mistake is a learning tool. That's what it's all about, mistakes. See, people get upset when they make a mistake or somebody else makes a mistake, but in reality, mistakes are part of our life and a blessing in many ways. It helps us to improve what we're doing. So if you make some mistakes, you go back over what I done and you're looking and you say, well, I screwed up here, I screwed up there. So now you go again, you start over and you repair what you've done and you do better. So it's a learning tool. And yes, some people make a lot of mistakes. That's okay. The more mistakes you make, the smarter you'll be because you'll try harder. The only problem is that occasionally when somebody makes mistakes or a few mistakes in a row, they sort of mentally give up and they think, that's it, I'm going to make the mistakes, I'm prone to it, and that's it, it's going to happen. And then they don't take the time to really get in there and do right because they're expecting to do something wrong. That is a problem. And that is what you need to pull yourself away from. I also see again, you reject things. And at this point, you might be rejecting something that might be good for you. I'm going to show you a card. So this card here, you see this person sitting under a tree? Now I have several decks, but this one, he's sitting there with the cups, rather than having his arms folded, and there's a cloud next to him. The cloud does not have a hand coming out of it in another deck, but it's the same. So you have 3 cups in front of him, as you can see, and he's filling 1 cup out, the contents of 1 cup. Here's the problem. Before you spill the contents out of that cup, you should be looking into the other 3 cups and see what they have to offer. You should look deeply into what you spilled out as well. Sometimes things on the surface look really shitty, but underneath there might be wonderful things. There might be very wonderful things. You have to look a little bit deeper into the situations around you and understand that people are not perfect. Everyone is not a perfectionist. People are not perfect. So, they might present something to you. It might not have such a wonderful package, but there is magnificence in it. But if we make a decision that it's bad right away on what it looks like or whatever, or the person handling it to us or whatever, we're losing out. We're losing out because we're not taking the time to explore. You see, the Eagle card, for instance. Now, the Eagle card, that would symbolize an eagle flying in the air. And he's out there looking for food, naturally. Looking for an accomplishment. And he sees the accomplishment. He doesn't immediately go down and grab it. He looks around a little bit, makes sure it's safe, makes sure he's not going to be eaten himself. He doesn't just look down again on the surface and say, hey, there's a rabbit, I'm going to go get it. He wants to make sure there's not a fox in the corner, a wolf in the corner, whatever it might be. So he checks the situation out. He looks deeper into the situation. And then he strikes. And he gets away with his prey. But if he was to just strike immediately, he hasn't got an idea what the hell's going to eat him. He doesn't even know if the rabbit's on a string and there's a fox pulling it. He has no idea. But the eagle is much more intelligent than that. So he checks out the situation before he makes a decision. And that is exactly what you have to do. Do not allow that personality and that intelligence of yours to make a decision for you very quickly. Think about it. Think about it. I know some Virgos are very difficult to convince of something. When they think they're right, no matter what happens. The world can end, they're right. And I understand that. I have Virgos that are very close to me, and I understand that is the kind of people that they are. So I understand 100%. And yes, sometimes it can be difficult to understand someone else. I understand that. But remember, if you want to succeed, if you really want to get ahead, you really want to be able to master every situation, and you have the ability to do that, you need to look a little deeper into every situation. So that is what I do see for you, Virgo. Now, I'm going to answer Marianne's question. Marianne, so you text me a few different times and you asked me about candle magic, so I'm going to go on that for you. This time you asked me about if someone curses you or hexes you or sends you bad energy, how can you send it back? Well, there are many ways to send it back. And I have many ways in my shop that I use and different oils and stuff of that sort. But there is candle magic as well. It's a simple spell, but it works pretty well. So you get a candle like this, a black one. This is white. This is the top of the candle, as you can see. So now what you're going to do is you're going to, right here, along the side here, the person's name, or if you don't know the person exactly, you write enemy, but you write it backwards, from back to front. Okay, so you write right there, back to front. Then there are different oils that you can dip this in, which I do have at my shop if you want to contact me at 321-274-7442, and I'll send you something. But otherwise, you could do it without the oils. Now, what you're going to do then is you're going to cut this top off, and you're going to flip the candle upside down. When you flip it upside down, you're going to cut the wax here and expose the wick that's inside. So now, this is upside down. And the writing that you wrote backwards when it was right side up now says the right name, or whether it's enemy or not. Now you're going to take the candle and you're going to put on a piece of aluminum foil. That's what I tell people to do. It's better with foil. You can put it on the dish, but foil is better, and I'll tell you why. So now what you're going to do is burn the candle. And you're going to put your thoughts in that candle, your prayers in that candle. You want to send it back. Stare at that flame, because it is the fire that's doing it. Definitely the fire. So now you want to look at that fire and you're going to watch and think clearly and try to picture. If you know who the person is, picture who it is. If not, manifest a picture of who you think it might be, or just an enemy in general. Try to do that for a little while. Now, let the candle completely burn down. Do not put it out. Let it burn all the way down. And whatever residue is at the bottom of the paper, of the foil, you're going to fold it up and take it and throw it away. Now, when I say throw it away, you're not going to throw it in your garbage, your dumpster, or even put it on your block. You're definitely not going to bury it in your backyard. Because when you do things to get rid of negativity, if you bury them in your backyard, the negativity stays there. It's like egg cleansing, the same thing. You do not bury the egg on your property, or you flush it down the bowl so it washes itself out to wherever the sewer ends up dumping it. Never keep it on your property. So now you take that foil and you're going to take it someplace you're not going to go too much anymore, maybe the woods or whatever, and you're going to dump it there. And try not to go to that spot in the woods again. And that'll help you with that particular spell of returning bad and negative energy. Now, there are many things we do in our shop for things like this. Come and see me. I'm at the Reddinger Flea Market. I'm Route 441 in Mount Dora, which is right outside of Popka. And I would love to see you. 321-274-7442. So blessed be and namaste. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoy the reading and you subscribe.